All right, so we have a rectangular prism. We have 4 inches, 5 inches, and 6 inches. So again, just like yesterday's lesson, if we look at that bottom layer, that very first layer, this is actually the base of the rectangular prism. And we would multiply. This is the length, this is the width, equals 20, I ran out of space here, inches. So this is, we're finding the area of that base. Okay, so this flat surface part here of the figure. So we would write the base as 20 inches squared because we didn't add that third dimension in yet. Once we add in that piece of the height piece, the 6 inches, then it becomes a 3-dimensional figure. Okay, so right now we're looking at the area, the surface area of the figure. Okay, so the length of the rectangular prism we said is 4 inches. The width is 5 inches. And when we multiply those together, so the area of the base is 20 inches. Here's where we add in the height. The height is 6 inches. So that means that there are 6 layers. So what do you think we're going to do? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 20 inches on the bottom and multiply it by the 6 layers, and that's going to give us the total for the entire figure, the total volume, how much space is inside. So we're going to take the length times the width, I should put volume equals for the formula, times the height. The length and the width is that bottom portion. Okay, so that's the base. So you'll see volume written in 2 different ways, which is really the same thing. So we're either doing the length times the width, which is the base, times the height, or the base, we could call this whole piece right here, the length and the width, times the height. The base times the height. It's the same thing. So we're taking the 5, we're taking the length, which is the 4, times the 5, the width, that's the base. Actually, I should move this over so it looks, okay, so the base is the 4 times the 5, and then we're adding in that third dimension, which is the height. So 4 times 5 times 6 is 20 times 6, right? Our bottom surface is 20, and then we're adding 6 layers to it. So 20 times 6 equals, well, I know 6 times 2 is 12, and then add an extra 0, inches cubed, because we have now that third dimension added in. Okay, so when we were just looking at the area, we would write inches squared, but here we're adding in that third dimension, so it becomes inches cubed. Okay, and I like how that video, the introduction video, explained it the same exact way. So now you just heard that a couple different times. Okay. Volume equals length times width times height. Or length times width is the base times the height. So if we have our length times width, which is 2 times 3 is our base, times our height, which is 3 centimeters, equals 6 times 3 is 18 centimeters this time. And don't forget that little 3, that exponent 3, to show that it's a three-sided, we're using the three measurements for the three-dimensional figure. 18 centimeters cubed. Let's try another one. So I'm going to go over here. I'll go down here. Volume equals, again, length times width times height. So this lesson is basically just like what we were doing yesterday with the surface areas and counting, but now we're just adding this formula in. This is what you were doing in yesterday's lesson. It's just that now we're using the formula. Okay, so volume equals length times width times height. So here's our length, here's our width. Okay, so we're looking at the base, and it's only one surface layer for the height. So 2 times 6 times 1. So 2 times 6 is our base, times the one layer. So 12 times 1 equals 12. Look at your cubic units. It's in inches, and we added that third dimension. Okay, so we're taking length times width times height, or base, I should have said base times height, which is 12 times 1, or 12 inches cubed, which means if we count these, there should be a total of 12. This one's really easy to see because it's only one layer. That means that there's 12 total. In this one, there's 18 total cubic units. In this one, there's 100 total cubic units, all throughout, occupying the space. Okay, we're going to try a couple more together with our volume formula today.